Joe, you're describing pain.
Yeah.
How does this pain feel? Like how exactly this pain?
Sickle cell pain is really excruciating. Sickle cell pain feels like someone is ripping off your skin and inserting broken glass into your veins. And sometimes it feels like you're chewing and swallowing razor blades. And most of the time it doesn't go away.
The story, Joe, that has shocked Kenyans is you writing to Belgium and asking for permission to go and end your life.
Someone who had sent me a link about something called euthanasia. That is the medical killing of patients, and it's legal in other countries, some countries, but it's not legal in the country.
So what did your mom say in the text message?
Next time she hears that I'm going to Belgium, we are going together. I should book tickets for 2.
So that she joins you in Belgium.
Yes. She said we are going to euthanize ourselves, both of us.
So if you go, then she also follows
We
you.
are going. That's what she told me.
Who is Joe Mudukiza?
My name is Joe Mudukiza. I'm 28 years old. And I have a sickle cell disorder. Sickle cell is a genetic blood disorder. Yeah. So I was born with sickle cell. But I didn't know I had sickle cell until when I was going to Form 1 in high school, because I was going to boarding school. My mom decided to tell me. Turns out that my parents knew about it. Yeah. So growing with sickle cell for me was quite a challenge. But the turning point in my life appeared when I was now in the world alone. So I had come to Nairobi. I was hustling. I was working with a media station, and then in February last year, I started becoming really, really sick. And towards April, I was in hospital for like most of the time. I couldn't even leave the hospital because I couldn't walk. I couldn't think for myself. And the reason why doctors decided now to confiscate me in hospital is because I started having episodes like I could feel suicidal, I could self-harm myself, and most of the time I literally found myself in hospital from home because I tried to commit suicide. This is not just something that I was deciding by myself. It's like the pain was thinking for me. So when I'm in hospital and the pain is now has subsided, this is when I come to think, now what have I been doing?
So Joe, you're describing pain.
Yeah.
How does this pain feel? Like how exactly this pain?
Sickle cell pain is really excruciating. Sickle cell pain feels like someone is ripping off your skin and inserting broken glass into your veins. And sometimes it feels like you're chewing and swallowing razor blades. And most of the time it doesn't go away. When it starts, it might end within a whole week. So this is a point where you find most sicklers, they start overdosing on opioids. As much as opioids are drugs that they are observed, but people have ways of getting them. People they really do overdose on opioids, and most of the people I know who passed from sickle cell, it came out of opioids overdosing.
The story, Joe, that has shocked Kenyans is you writing to Belgium and asking for permission to go and end your life. How did you get here?
You know, I'm very active on social media. even when I was at hospital, they let me use my phone. So I used to document my story on Facebook most of the time, and a lot of people would read and feel with me. Some would even send me messages. Then there was someone who had sent me a link about something called euthanasia. That is the medical killing of patients, and it's legal in other countries, some countries, but it's not legal in the country. So I went through the link, and whatever was written there was not quite much for me to fulfill. So through the pain that I was going through, I actually applied when I was in hospital. So I filled the form, I wrote to them, and they told me that I should send them supporting evidence that I actually need to undergo that procedure, because they don't want to ask me to go to Belgium and then it becomes manslaughter because they have not taken the right procedures or the right measures. So I sent them whatever they needed. There are some videos that my friends usually record when I'm in hospital sometimes. So I sent it to them, and then they replied and told me that I qualify. That wasn't I wasn't thinking much at that point because I was tired. I was literally tired, and by that time, I had lost weight. I was not eating. I was not taking medication, because if I take medication and I take food, I would vomit most of the time. I really don't know why, but those are some of even the things that had doctors could not figure out. So I was like, if doctors are not figuring out how to help me, but they are keeping me in hospital, then I better find a solution for myself. So I tried to pretend that I was better, then I was discharged. So I went home, and then I started finalizing everything so that I could go to Belgium. It got to a point where they told me that I need to get a flight, and there are things that I need to pay when I'm in Belgium. And I told them I don't have money. So they told me there is a euthanasia board in Belgium. They would talk to them so that they see if they can fund me. It did not even take like 4 hours. They had already responded, and they told me they're going to fund me to go to Belgium to do the procedure. So I asked them how much that would cost. And they told me it was going to cost me at least 1.5 million to travel and to do all that. Then I told them, I asked them if there's a possibility for them to transfer that money for me to get medical attention instead of going to Belgium for that. And then they told me the board works with rules. You can't, they can't give out money to buy a cup and then you go and buy a plate. So it has to do the work that it has been given out for. So we couldn't do much. So I decided that I was going on with it. So I accepted.
So they will only fund you to undergo assisted dying.
Yes.
To help you die. But
Yep.
they wouldn't give you the money to actually treat or manage the painful condition that you're going through.
Yes. In fact, they asked me one question. They told me that we have ministries in the country. Can money being given to Ministry of Education be transferred to Ministry of Water? And there's nothing I could say, because some of the time we were talking with them on phone after emails. And then I made everything. I went and got my passport renewed. I got my tickets, and then I got my visa from the Belgium embassy, and they gave me everything on time. So when it was time for me to leave, they told me that they need my doctors to sign a certain document to allow me to undergo the procedure, to actually ascertain that I'm in pain and suffering. That is the only way they would have me undergo the procedures. So I went to all my doctors that have ever treated me. All of them actually declined. They said that in this profession to save lives and not to end lives. I went back to the board and told them that they can't do that, but they had a solution for everything. They told me I will just travel to Belgium, and then I will be evaluated by Belgian doctors at the Belgian municipality, and then we can go on. But during that time, I guess I might have posted on my Facebook, and somebody might have shared it with them with the Department of Human Trafficking. So they looked for me, and they took my passport and my travel documents. I was unable to travel, and then after that, people sent the story to the media, and before they could even come to talk to me, the story was trending everywhere fast. So I accepted only 3 interviews, and then I did the interviews, and then I was everywhere.
And I mean, government was calling by this time, coming to you, right?
Yes, the Ministry of Health sent representatives to my place. We talked, and they promised to offer some services, of which some of them they did honor, and some of them they did not. Yeah, but I think from that point, I got a little bit better up to now. I'm still not in a position that I was in the previous time. But if it was not for social media, I think right now I would not be sitting here talking to you.
I mean, your parents, your mother, where are they in all this?
I'm an adult, so the only thing they needed is my signature and not the input of any adult person in my life. So I had not even communicated to my mom. My dad passed in 2021. So I have a surviving mom. I had not told her, but she knew it from the news and the newspapers. But I had told some of my friends, the ones that I know, they were against it. In fact, they were very cautious with me. They kept on checking up, and some of them even moved to my house. But they were not in charge of my phone. So they were shocked when they found out that I'm sitting in the house with them. They're looking out for me, but I'm trending outside there.
So what did your mom say in the text message?
When
she found out,
she called me,
yeah,
and then she asked me if I'm okay, and I told her yes, I am. But then she told me she's seeing something different from what I'm seeing. I asked her what she had seen, and then she said she will talk to my aunt to come and see me, and then we'll sort it out. So eventually we talked, and she told me next time she hears that I'm going to Belgium, we are going together. I should book tickets for 2.
so that she joins you in Belgium.
Yes. She said we are going to euthanize ourselves, both of us.
So if you go, then she also follows
We
you.
are going. That's what she told me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where are you in all this right now, in terms of your state of mind, or what are you thinking about? Do you still want to go on with assisted suicide? Or
with sickle cell, there is something called depression with sickle cell, but a lot of people don't really understand or figure out that someone who has sickle cell, they are depressed most of the times.
Yeah.
It's because people are used to you being sick all the time, and you're in hospital most of the time. You are crying most of the time. So they just find it normal, but they don't try to assess your state of mind until you get to a point where now suicide comes in and these other decisions, because you can't be in pain 24/7 and think like a normal human being, because your mind will be leading you to solutions. How can you end that pain? And if you go to hospital and doctors are unable to end that pain, then I think your mind might get settled onto something else that might give you a long-term solution, of which most of the people decide that that's death, because there is no other thing that can stop sickle cell pain. It's living with it on a daily basis.
All right. So for the benefit of the viewers, you are starting a podcast.
Yeah, sure.
And what should they expect in this podcast?
We are going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about awareness at home. I'm not only going to talk about myself, but we're going to talk about other people and how the healthcare system in the country and out of the country works on issues, sickle cell and other chronic diseases, because right now sickle cell is not insurable. NHIF does not insure sickle cell as much as it does insure other chronic diseases. Sickle cell has not also been listed among the non-communicable diseases, the list of non-communicable diseases in the country. So they don't really get much help as it should, because right now, out of 10 children being born every day, we have one that has sickle cell. So that the statistics is becoming a little bit higher. Not like previously it was out of 100 there is one. So it has now become a common blood disorder that is kind of being ignored.
Yeah. So you had it. Coming up is one of the biggest stories that are going to be told in this country about Joe Mudukiza, a sickle cell anemia patient who filed to move out of this country to go to Belgium and seek assisted suicide. Here at Pro Studios. Keep it locked.